Hey book lovers, my name is Em and I want to talk about books. And cats. Hey books and cats lovers. I have spent a very large chunk of time today on Instagram looking at pictures of cute cats. Like, too much time. Although I don't know how much that is, because it makes me so happy to see pictures of cute kitties. So I also, in my scrolling, was looking at memes, and I saw this one that I've seen going around before about Beauty and the Beast, and how some girls want the prince, but some girls would rather have the library. I know which one I would be, but it made me think about Beauty and the Beast and how people correlate it to Stockholm Syndrome, and I kind of got to thinking, I don't know if it's necessarily Stockholm Syndrome. Like, maybe she just saw the library, realized that she had, like, servants who were nice, this house is gigantic. You know, she's not got a lot going on back at the village, like, everybody kind of thinks she's an outcast and a weirdo, and they sing songs about it. Her aging dad is, like, a little bonkers and getting to be a handful and, like, blowing the house up and stuff. And then there's Gaston, who's, like, stalking her and trying to force himself on her. And, like, initially she doesn't even really have to see the beast all that much. Like, it's not really that bad a deal. So I don't know if it's Stockholm Syndrome or just Belle was really smart. Anyway, what are your thoughts on that? I could also see the Stockholm Syndrome thing, but I don't know. That library. So I'm still working my way through the fantasy book that I had planned on talking about today. I haven't had any time to read this week, which is such a bummer. I've been working on getting my own book ready. It's coming out on December 11th, which is Friday. So if you're listening, you get to know about it first. And if you follow the link in the show notes, you can actually get the book now. So check it out. I'm super excited about this one. Normally when I finish something, like, I'll know that it's done, but I won't feel... Like, I always feel good about it. I always think it's good, or else I wouldn't put it out there. But I always feel like maybe there could be something more. And this one I'm feeling really good about still. So that's nice. It's a nice... I like writing young adult, and I like writing fantasy because I like just... things that are impossible in real life, you know? And this one has a lot of that. It's a nice escape from reality. And I think the story is interesting, and it kind of mixes science and magic and a thirst for power. So if that appeals to you, look in the show notes. There will be a link. You can get an ebook or a paperback at this point. Audiobook will be coming in 2021. I also have some other things in the works for 2021, so stay tuned for more Books and Cats awesomeness. I'm super excited. So I needed a book to discuss this week, and I thought I would talk about something Christmassy and something that I know so well. I talked about how much I love Halloween and how I celebrate it all of October. I would say take my love of Halloween and at least, like, triple it, and that's Christmas. Christmas is my favorite holiday. In our house, we celebrate it pretty much the entire month. I started them off with a little, yay, it's December, little gift. And we do lots of fun stuff. We did, last night, we went and did our yearly drive around to look at Christmas lights. And I gave everybody a goodie bag for the ride. And we listened to Pentatonic's Christmas music, and it was just perfect. Like... It was so fun, and I'm so grateful that even though the kids are older, they still enjoy it. Everybody seemed to have a good time. I just loved it. We also started getting Christmas cards, and my mother-in-law, she usually does a letter about what's been going on in the year, but she did it in poem form this year, and I just love that. I feel like there's been, like, people have been able to do a lot more creative stuff because of quarantine and everything. So I guess if we can find any benefit, there's at least that. People are creating more. I don't want you guys to think that I'm totally crazy. Like, I am over the top about Christmas, but only until Christmas Day. As soon as December 25th is over, we are done. The tree goes down the next day, and we start getting back to normal. So it's not a full month of Christmas, but it's pretty close. So I went off on another Christmas tangent. Today I'm going to talk about the ultimate classic Christmas story, A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. So I have always loved this story. As a kid, all of my favorite Christmas movies were based on Christmas Carol. I have to say that The Muppet Christmas Carol is still a must-watch every single year. It's the best. Plus Gonzo plays Charles Dickens, and he's my favorite. I love that the story came from the tradition of telling ghost stories on Christmas Eve. That seems like so much fun. It's not part of what we do for Christmas anymore, but anything that's kind of spooky, I'm going to like. Also, let me admit how much of a nerd I am by saying how much I really enjoy Dickens. Mostly Great Expectations and A Christmas Carol. They're my favorites. I have read both of them numerous times. Christmas Carol more, but it's also shorter. And I have not only watched every version of Christmas Carol possible, but I also adapted it into a script and staged it every Christmas for, 6 or 7 years, I think. It was a long time. I directed some other Christmas plays in there, too. I think overall I did Christmas plays for about a decade. And I wrote a couple original Christmas plays that I liked. I'm going to put a link to those in the show notes, too, because I like them, and they're a cool little Christmas read. So this is one of the reasons that I love Christmas so much and I do really miss directing the Christmas shows. I used to work with actors of all ages. There'd be about 40 of them total. And we would range from 5 years old to, 70s, 80 maybe. So it was really fun because it was a community show. And I'm really good at creating that really ultimate Christmassy feeling. And after years of directing the show and fine-tuning it, I had it down to a system. A system with a lot of wiggle room because it's a tough time to get people to commit to schedules and there's concerts and all kinds of stuff normally. But I had, a plan. And this was the time of year where we would have been putting the pieces of the show together and it would have started to become an actual show and you'd start to have that Christmas feeling at rehearsals. And you could just feel the kids and really all of the actors' excitement just growing. It was a really cool experience. It was so much fun, and I really do miss it. I'm glad that my kids got to have that as part of their childhood, though. Yeah, Christmas is big with us. Anyway, I'm off track again. Let's talk about the ghosts in A Christmas Carol, because they're my favorite part, obviously. Ghost of Christmas Past. I always saw this ghost as very sweet and childlike, but also kind of sad and haunted. Pun intended. Honestly, this one's never my favorite, but I do enjoy seeing Scrooge's backstory. It's a really good reminder that angry and cruel people, they don't start out that way. Hurt people hurt people. So they have a reason and something has happened to them in their past. I think it's hard to think about that when you're dealing with those people, but if you can, maybe you'll give them a little more kindness. And they probably need it the most. The Ghost of Christmas Present. Okay, so first of all, the Muppet version of this ghost is my favorite. He's so jolly and joyful, and I just love him because he's laughing the whole time. The present is obviously all about the Cratchit family, and I've always loved that warm, loving family. I kind of use that as a model for how I want our Christmases and our family to be. Like I said, I am definitely over the top with Christmas, but honestly, I don't regret making my kids' holidays special. I hope they remember it, Plus, it's fun. I really enjoy it. Okay. Ghost of Christmas Yet to Come is my favorite, obviously, because duh, I'm dark. And I like a good lesson. And honestly, I'm just thinking of this now, but this was probably one of the most formative books from my, youth. When I was younger, I just liked that it was scary, and so it drew me to it. Plus, it was Christmas. I remember watching the Mickey Mouse Christmas Carol and being absolutely terrified. I was really young, and the Ghost of Christmas Future throws Scrooge into a grave that turns into, a fiery hell pit. Those old cartoons did not mess around. And I love the happy ending and how Scrooge learns his lesson and turns it around. And I love that feeling of goodwill and kindness. That's really, to me, what Christmas is about. Anytime I read that story or watch that story, it's going to instantly put me in a Christmassy mood. So I would love to know what your favorite version of Christmas Carol is. Send me a message, books.cats.pod on Instagram or books.cats.pod@gmail. I am obviously a fan of the Muppet Christmas Carol. My son likes Mr. Magoo's Christmas Carol, which was also my dad's favorite. And what other holiday films do you like? I like Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas and Elf. And, of course, The Grinch. Pretty much any of The Grinch, but the old school one especially. I also always make it a point to watch The Nutcracker. When I was a kid, I used to take ballet, and I got to perform in it for quite a few years, and it really has a special place in my heart. So yeah, I hope this has brought you a little Christmas spirit, and maybe made you want to start digging out the Christmas movies. I don't know if we're digging them out anymore. I'm not. I'm watching them on Hulu or Netflix. But yeah, take some time and watch a Christmas movie, and send me a message. Let me know what you're watching or reading. And at this point, I'm going to take a quick break, and I will be right back. Hey, book lovers, Em here. I want to talk to you about Prismatext. During quarantine, I started learning German using an app, and I've kept it going for several months now. I'm really enjoying it, but I'm kind of ready to mix it up a little bit. And Prismatext had exactly what I was looking for. Prismatext books are a brand new way of studying a foreign language. Rather than using flashcards or apps, the learner can simply pick up an ebook and start reading. Currently, Prismatext books are available in English as a first language, and they target languages including Spanish, French, Italian, German, and Portuguese. I got Little Women, Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, and Wuthering Heights, 3 of my favorites with German words mixed right in. Follow the link in the show notes to help support the podcast. I would greatly appreciate it. And use code BOOKSANDCATS for 30% off your order. That's all caps. Books, the letter N, cats. Start learning today while enjoying your favorite classics with Prismatext. And we're back. Okay, book lovers. Cats and Christmas trees. It's been quite a year so far. We have had our tree for a week, maybe a little more. And so far it's still standing, which is pretty good. It is kind of in a corner, like we put it in a place where it's almost surrounded on 3 sides. So it's not really going anywhere if it falls over, but I'm just waiting for the day that it comes crashing down. This morning, my 2 youngest cats they have a certain time in the mornings where they are just insane and they just run around and play and are absolutely crazy. And they have started diving from the couch down through the tree onto the other cat. And something disastrous is going to happen. I'm just waiting. It's really fun to watch, though. They love it so much. I think the worst one was back when my husband and I had just gotten married. We didn't have kids yet. We were living in this apartment. It had a nice big room, so we had this gigantic Christmas tree. It was beautiful. And one night we just heard this massive crash, and our cat at the time, Tybalt, who was white and deaf and like the weirdest, clumsiest cat you've ever seen, he had knocked over the gigantic tree and smashed most of the ornaments. When I lifted the tree back up, I had a lot of ballerina ornaments because I took ballet for a long time. And one of my sugar plum fairy ornaments had been beheaded. And so when I picked the tree up, just her head was hanging on the tree. I left it there. I thought it was funny. You have to laugh at things. What are you going to do? Be upset all the time? So the other cat-based thing that I wanted to talk about is a podcast that I just found called Murder, Mystery, and Meows. I just found them on Instagram because they have black kitties too. And if you like true crime and cats, it's a really good podcast. The first episode was about Ed Gein, who I find horrifying and kind of fascinating in a weird way. It was a really good episode, and then I ended up binging a few more episodes after that. So, Murder, Mystery, and Meows. Definitely check them out. Yeah, it was really good. So, now it's time for the quote of the week. In the end, we'll all become stories. And that's from Margaret Atwood in Moral Disorder and Other Stories. I love Margaret Atwood. I will definitely be covering some of her books. Maybe not Handmaid's Tale. I don't know. Personally, I like Cat's Eye. I might cover that one at some point. But yeah, in the end, we'll all become stories. That's what I hope for. I mean, that's why I go crazy at Christmas, because at some point you're not around anymore, and then you are just what people remember. So I hope people remember good things. Anyway, so I hope you guys have a great week. Again, if you're looking for fun books and cats based merch, I have some stuff including pet hoodies, and stickers and mugs and all kinds of fun stuff. That link will also be in the show notes, so check that out. And make sure you're taking time to sit down and read and relax. And check out my new book, Feelers, that's out officially on Friday. But if you're listening to this, it's out for you now. Check out the show notes. And until next time, keep reading.
Cats.